That's why I'm going to start tonight with a Colbert Report shout out. Hey!
Hi, guys. Oh, my God, it's Ugly Bob. What the hell are you doing here?
This review is for Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions is an enhanced port of the original Final Fantasy Tactics released on the PSP in October 2007. Final Fantasy Tactics originally came out on the Sony PlayStation in January of 1998. Tactics is a tactical squad-based RPG strategy game developed by Squaresoft. It was one of the many inspired games released in the wake of Final Fantasy VII's success. Drawing inspiration from Square's Bahamut Lagoon and Nintendo's Fire Emblem series, Final Fantasy Tactics is a great game with interesting gameplay and a very compelling story. Tactics takes place in the land of Ivalice, also prominently featured in Square games like Final Fantasy XII and Vagrant Story. We follow the story of Ramza Beowulf, the youngest member of one of the land's leading noble houses. The king of Ivalice has recently died following the final resolution of a conflict known as the 50 Years' War with a neighboring country. Because the king's successor is a mere infant, there is tension brewing over the choice of regent. Some favor a Prince Larg of the White Lions, while others prefer Prince Goltana of the Black Lion. As both of these nobles have legitimate claim to the throne, there is much passion and chaos erupting over who will rule, and conflict is once again brewing. The character graphics of Tactics have been described as noseless wonders, a cute and accurate description of the art style. The multitude of characters are almost chibi in their appearance, but very mature in their mannerisms, motivations, and speech. Because a great deal of the game is spent on isometric battlefields, they must be expressive and full of detail. I am happy to report that there are quite a lot of different types of scenery, from townships to deserts to grasslands, all distinct and pleasant looking. Due to the great amount of time you spend in battle in this game, the many different abilities, spells, and item effects should complement the battle visually, and they do. From the tiny potion animation to the very elaborate Bahamut summon, Final Fantasy Tactics is well drawn with dynamic animation and graphics. Music is the work of Masahiro Iwatani and Hitoshi Sakamoto. In the early days of the PlayStation, music was rather low quality, almost 32x MIDI-like. It took the efforts of Squaresoft and others to bring out the quality of the sound chip in their projects. These projects included Saga Frontier and Final Fantasy Tactics. Tactics music also makes use of a synthesizer specialist in order to better create the feel of orchestration that the composers aimed for. The music is not only higher quality, it has better fidelity and definition, if you will. What results is a superlative score full of memorable pieces. These include Apoplexy, The Chapel, and Backfire. Now, of course, all of these are battle tracks, so they're full of energy and quite exciting to listen to. The score also has some more introspective pieces like Prey and a couple of other ones I can't think of right now. It should also be mentioned that due to the nature of this game, non-stop battling, or battles pretty much, the music had to be composed in such a way to make it easy to listen to even after 30 minutes or longer of battling. I'm happy to report that the composer succeeded admirably. Even though the music obviously loops, it just seems to be written in such a way that it's encouraged. I know really nothing about the way music is actually composed, but I say they succeeded very well in making the music feel not repetitive really at all. Final Fantasy Tactics gameplay involves logistics and strategies. Tactics, if you will. You select a party of 5 to 6 characters and face opposing armies or groups of monsters. Unlike other Final Fantasy games, the character must move into the range of their enemies for attacks to succeed. For every successful action, attack-based, stat buffer, or such like, you gain experience. This works much like any other RPG. Gain enough and you level up, increasing your stats. A little difference is that it is a constant 100 XP to the next level. Successful actions also give you job points, which you use to learn abilities. Combined with job levels that unlock new and potentially more powerful jobs, these abilities allow the player to create interesting fighters. You can make a fighter who knows black magic, a ninja who can jump, and lots more. It is similar to Final Fantasy V's class system, more flexible in that being proficient in assigned abilities doesn't require job mastering. A fighter is not inherently weak with black magic as in Final Fantasy V, just not as powerful as a black mage. Again, increasing your character level with a particular job will increase certain stats, furthering your variable character setup. There are quite a lot of different jobs to use, with some being a curiosity at best and others almost game-breaking, and in the case of some special characters, definitely game-breaking. There is also the system of faith and bravery, which I am not even sure how they work. It was said best when someone reported that you don't ever need to mess with either faith or bravery to beat the game. It really only plays into how abilities for certain jobs work. Challenge in Final Fantasy Tactics is pretty varied. Some parts of the game are brutally difficult, either because the enemy has a real advantage. Real advantage usually means like they either have